Good morning. Thanks so much for helping to get things ready for Sunday morning worship services. If you could go to room 102 and unlock this door, you'll actually have to unlock it from the inside as well, or it'll lock back up on you. And so once you turn that little knob right there, go ahead and make sure that the door kind of opens and closes, and then you'll be able to take care of that. Next up, we have to head over to the nursery and get some things situated at the nursery. So once you open this door, there's going to light right around the edge here, and so if you can turn that light on, that'll get that opening light. We're going to go to the nursery. When we go to the nursery, we just want to get ready for the live stream. It actually is funneled into there, and so you'll just have to turn that TV on, make sure to use that remote and turn the TV on, and it'll be set, ready to go. The air needs to be turned on in this little section, and so you turn it with this little knob. Make sure it's on cool or heat, whichever one's relevant. Once you come around here, get that light on. You'll want to turn the light on over in this area, but before you do so, just make sure the air is on. This air not only controls the nursery, but also those Sunday school classes that you opened. And so once you turn that light on, right here, we're going to get the children's church computer set up. And so I had already turned it on, and so once you turn it on, you'll use that passcode. And so there it is right there and all. And so but once you get that, you'll want to turn the TV on and make sure it's on HDMI 1. And so while you're flipping through there, situate that. Just close those things down, but then on the keynote, it should be ready for today's children's church, and just push play, start that opening scene, and get it on the TV. And once you head out of there, we're going to go over to the office. You know the code. If not, just wait till a staff member comes in, and they'll take care of that. Let's open up the door to the sanctuary then. Once you open up this door to the sanctuary, we'll be ready to go. There's a light switch right ahead of you, and then also for the ladies' restroom, you'll want to get this light switch turned on, and you can see those lights there. And then for these hallways, there's two in this hallway, and that'll control the stairwell. Coming around, we got the prayer room lights that you'll want to turn on. As soon as you do that, there's a little hidden switch. See it just right there. That'll turn that hallway light on, and then you want to open up the door. You'll end up having to kind of double open it, and then just kind of wedge it there like that. Coming back around, we're in the welcome center now. Once you get things situated for the welcome center, there's this little TV. It scrolls announcements. Once you turn it on, you'll have some menu items that you'll need to take care of, and so that remote should be like right by the TV. But you'll kind of see where you want to go to the menu options. It's kind of slow, but you'll want to go down to the USB section of it. Once you go there, got it. All right. So once you get into this little section here, you'll notice a menu pop up. That picture. Go ahead and select that, drive one, and then click on this first picture. You'll want to push number 4, which will stop the show. Then you push number 1 and go to all for the repeat. And then if you push number 4 again, that'll help you to start that show, and it'll just scroll from there. Afterwards, we'll come into the sanctuary. You want to check some of these lights just to make sure that they're plugged in and charging. And then afterwards, we'll make our way around to turn the actual lights on. I usually try to get some of these chairs moved. They move them on Wednesday night, and so I like to be behind there to give some room for people to walk. Checking these lights again, but then you'll turn those lights here on. Make sure that the cross is on and all those additional lights. And then we'll just head over to the air conditioning. Once we head over to this air conditioning, you'll want to set that to the appropriate temperature. We usually try to do around 71 or 72. Come around this little section. I usually fix these chairs because they've been moved around. But once you do so, there's a little light switch in here that I turn on, and then this one that's in this hallway. Just heading upstairs, we're going to go ahead and get ready to do some things up here as far as the media console. There's a certain order here. You'll want to push the number 1 on the bottom. As soon as you do that, the power will come on, but then you'll want to go behind the soundboard and actually click the power button behind there. You see that one? Wait for the board to initialize, and so once you'll see the screen pop up, you'll be ready to go. And then just push number 2 and 3. I didn't do it in this video, but there's actually a overhead lights, and there's a little remote there. But you'll want to make sure that the first thing you do is turn on the projector. So use this remote here. push the power on the projectors, and you'll begin to notice it'll say Epson on there here in a moment as it scrolls over there. And so you'll want to make sure those projectors are on before you turn the computer on. So once you got that projector kind of initializing, you'll see it pop up there in the background. Just turn the computer on, and then that'll boot up as well. Alright, so once that starts booting up, we're going to go ahead and once that screen initializes, you'll see it's on the projectors as well. We're going to go to, it says, you see over there? Alright, and so once you click on that for Media Shout, you'll see everything kind of initialized, but you'll go to Media Shout 7, and so that's when we'll begin to start the process of having Media Shout opened. Alright, here's worst case scenario. So it ended up being to where all of the previous ones were deleted. So you're going to have to go and try to open up another one that's in the past that we knew was working. So maybe like 3 weeks back. Once you find that, it's going to try to open that up and get it where it needs to be. But while you're waiting on that to open, you can go ahead and go to the planning app and make sure that you got your order of service together. And so once that finally pops up, I usually go through there and delete the ones that are from the previous week that I don't need. So like songs, verses, and just whenever I get rid of all the things that I want to, I'm clicking here, and you'll notice whenever I click, I'm going to save it and all, but when I click on it, and try to make a screen active, it goes to that. So you're going to need to push F2 because the monitor, the background, is not right. All right, so you'll want to go to the settings menu. There's like a scripture passage. So you can set the specific scripture passage you want whenever the Bible comes up. But then also you've got the one, this third one, where you'll want to do the first one there, the third one there in that box, and that'll make sure that that it's showing 1 way over there, 2 for yourself, and then 3 for the confidence monitor. Once you get all that situated, you're going to want to push the search or the source button in order to get the projectors to line up. You'll probably notice that the projectors right now are definitely not in the right formatting, so you'll have to keep on pushing the source button in order to get them to cycle through to get to the right place. All right, now that you got your order service together, if you want to start adding, there's that button to the side there, and so we'll want to start adding, looking for the different components of the service, whether they're songs or whatever. And so once you click on a song that you have, hopefully it's formatted. If it's not, then we're going to have to go through a process of getting some songs together. And so you'll want to move those things around, make sure that you got them all situated. Bokeh is the B-O-K-E-H is the background that we'll use. We found that that's the one that usually doesn't give us any trouble, and so that'll be in the worship file folder. And so here's a song that we're putting in that's not formatted correctly, and so you'll notice the background's not correct, and the way the letters are, that they're not correct either. And so what we'll do is we'll format that and get it. I'm getting some of the other songs that we are going to be putting in there as well, and so you can go ahead and do that, but just realize that we're going to get to a point where we're going to change that song out. All right, and so once we get all of the order service correct, then I usually come through and I change the order service on all of the screens, so that in the in-between times, like during the welcome and during the greeting or whatever that might be, I want to make sure that the worship team knows exactly what's coming up. And so I'll get the order of service down there, exactly where it is with the correct songs. And so just go through your planning app, check out all those songs, put the order in on the screen, and so you'll notice that this here is that the stage display that I'm changing right now, getting all those things together. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll copy and paste those as we move through the rest of the ones that are above you. All right, so go to that song. You'll want to find this one that I think is Worship 4 lines. Highlight that and then go to the double T's, and that'll put it on all caps. You want to right click and apply that formatting to all the words. All right, and then afterwards, you want to go to the background display. Make sure that you change the background. It should be like 01 Worship, which will open the folder to bouquet, and then it's the very first one. When it gets on there, you'll have to stretch it to the screen and then just push save that part. All right, and so then it'll be formatted correctly for all of that song. And so any songs that come up in the future, that's how you want to do it. I also look through those songs to make sure, for example, if it stretches too far across the screen, I'll begin to change those up just so that it all fits and it's legible. And I try to split it as well when the song would naturally split, so that you're not splitting in the middle of a phrase that you'd be singing. That way it's easier for folks when they're reading it to be able to actually see that. So once you go through all your songs, make sure they're all formatted correctly. Save it again. You'll want to save the screen and just kind of get those words together. So I'll check all of those for just a moment. Now sometimes you're going to have to add a new song, and so you have to go to the song menu. It takes a while. Don't try to rush this, because if you rush it, it'll crash. Okay, and so once you get to the lyrics, you want to go to the edit, create a new one. Whenever you do that, put that song title in there, okay it, and then I had already put the words of the song down, and so now I can just copy paste. So you'll want to get like verse 1, add it. You have to wait a second. When you're pushing that add, it'll pop up another menu. You'll want to go to the left and click either like a verse or chorus, whichever one you're doing. Copy and paste that thing again whenever it pops up. Like I said, this adding a new song takes a while, but you'll have to go through each and every step to put a verse, to put the chorus, pre-chorus, all those things in there. Oftentimes it's best to look in your planning and music app so that you'll see what it's called in there. And so if it's called a pre-chorus, if it's called a bridge, whatever it's called, you just want to get all of that together, and then make sure that as you're going through that you save it. All right, so once you get that song in there, you'll want to save that song, and then after you save it, you'll have to go to this next part. All right, so the next part is once you click on there, it'll change the menu, and then you'll have to add every one of those. So your verses, you'll have to add, and like I said, it might take a moment, but you want to add your verses, you'll want to add your choruses, you want to add your bridges, and all those things. And so you'll just have to keep going through there to add those actual things. You'll see them pop up. If they haven't popped up there, then when you transfer it over, it won't matter. All right, so you're just going to have to kind of be patient, get all those things over and every part of that song. Once you get all of that, you'll notice on the screen that once they all pop up on that screen, then you'll want to insert that. All right, so it'll ask you if you want to save and stuff and everything, but you'll insert that over to there. Okay, so once I insert it over, then I'm going to get rid of that so that it's no longer in my way. It was just the easiest way to copy and paste it. But once I get those things out of the way, I'll go ahead and maximize my screen again. All right, and then you'll notice once you get everything situated and you get it moved over, the formatting is going to be totally wrong. So you'll want to go again like you did earlier. You'll want to go find that image, go to the bouquet one, make sure that you stretch it to the screen there, that last button on the left, and then that'll be situated. Go again to the modern worship 4. All of that's already done as far as the all capitalized, but you'll want to make sure that you apply that to every single screen. And then once you apply it to every single screen, just go through, and once again you have to find those words. All right, so once again I'm just situating according to the song. You'll want to make sure that you click on that button. The button I just pushed brought everything from the screen on over to the backside. There's a template there that you'll want to click, and so make sure that you click that template. And that template will make sure that you actually, on the stage screen, that it'll have the words, but then also in that white part there, it'll have the words to the next line. And so once you get that, make sure you just save that, get it as you want it. and then just kind of go from there. And so all the songs need to be kind of formatted the same way, have that same look, and as you go through, just go ahead and get all that together, and put the song in the order. And so I'll copy and paste the choruses once I get everything situated, and just put it exactly how that song will be run. That way for Heather, whoever's coming in to run the screen, they won't have to go back and forth. It'll just be in the exact order, and then I make sure once again that I save that to the computer. Now when I'm about to add Bible verses, so I'll go to the little Bible section, make sure that it's in the version that I want. I'll go to the book that I'll be preaching out of and get those verses in there as well. All right, so just go ahead and the chapter will pop up, the verses, and you just highlight those verses that you want, and then they'll come up as well. Okay, and so just kind of get that situated as you want, and then you'll be able to insert it. Now once you insert it, you'll notice I usually do a black screen, so I remove the background. There, if you go, there will be series verses will be the thing that you want to do. Apply that to all the scriptures, and then I make this about definitely bigger than it is right there, and so just enough to fill that screen. And then make sure you apply that to all formatting as well, or to format that to all pages. That'll make sure that the Bible verses are all the same across the board. Now when doing your sermon points, you can just fix these. Make sure that once you get it situated like you want to, that you also format that to be the same on the screen, but then also on the stage display, and that way you'll be able to see that, so that whatever's on this screen will be on the stage display as well, and that'll make sure that it keeps you on track as far as you don't have to look backwards. It'll actually be on the screen. Alright, so once you're done with all that, make sure you save it, and then come around and get this remote. Make sure that TV is on. If not, you'll just have to turn it on by the remote. Once you head down these stairs, it's time to open up the doors. You want to make sure that you turn the light switch on. It'll be that last one to the right. And so once you open the door, you have to make sure that you open it up, the actual deadbolt, the top, and then there's one on the bottom. And so you want to open that up. You'll need to make sure you open the doors, or they'll seem like they're locked. Have one open and the other one, and then this little TV screen here. All right, so you'll find that remote right back there. Turn the TV on. Once you do, you'll want to make sure that you kind of scroll up to the USB part. Media play is what you'll want to push, and then go over to the photos. Click on the photos, and then click over on one of the pictures. Once you click on one of the pictures, it'll actually start scrolling, and that's all you have to do. Turn this light on before you head back, and as you do, a lot of times I'll check to make sure all these chairs are situated, and then we'll head up on the stage. Once we get all the computer stuff on there, you'll want to notice, like between these chairs, there's some switches. You'll have to turn that one on, then come over here, and then right in there, just turn that switch on too. Sometimes it might pop, hopefully not, but turn the keyboard on, and then as you come back around, you'll begin to get ready to turn all those computers on. So there's a Mac that's underneath there. You'll want to get that Mac on, just right there, that button, and then you'll want to start getting the computer kind of set up and situated. Underneath the table, there's a power strip, or actually an extension cord. You'll want to just plug the computer in, get that in there. The fan is running. You'll have to keep that fan on because it helps the computer process. And so once you get that situated, plug in on one side, and then on the other side there are two USBs that need to be plugged into those ports. All right, and so you'll notice the Mac in the background that's starting to run, and so get that guy situated. The codes are the same for both computers, and so just kind of get that situated. All right, once the Mac comes on the right, go ahead and use that keyboard to put the code in. Well, the first things you want to do is open up Google Chrome and go to speedtest.net, and just make sure that you run a speed test. You'll see that on the left hand side, and so just run the speed test on there so that we can make sure that our internet is working correctly. You'll need an upload speed of at least 2.1 or around there. If it's in the 1, you'll want to run that speed test again. You'll notice on the other side that it is asked you once you open up Light Key for a code. You have to put that code authenticated in there. And then while you're doing that, you'll want to make sure that you go into the Open Me First part. And so you'll do that one. Make sure you just push up and down on the side scroll bar. And then once you close that project, then you want to open up the project there, that Church All. Alright, so just click on that little menu button. You'll want to go down the second part there. It'll give you those, and then you want to situate this. Just make it as easy as possible. Make sure that coordinates with the actual order of service. So you may have to move some things around. If there's baptism, you'll notice on the bottom of the screen, just keep scrolling all the way down. Just move that baptism where it needs to be. Put songs in place where they need to be. And so just kind of, make sure that that coordinates with song 1, fellowship greetings, song 2, song 3, whatever it might look like. Just make sure you get all that together in this little part. And so everything is beneath the parts that you need it to be. So just all you got to do is grab it and move it. All right, so slide it to where it needs to be. Now once you open up OBS, you'll want to make sure that you go to View. In that view, you'll want to make sure that you go into multi-view, full screen, and then you'll click on that built-in retina display. All right, so that's the one that you'll want to make sure that you get to. Once you get to that, it'll come up with this screen. You can then make that the size that you want to. When you make that the size that you want to, just kind of get it on the screen, and then you'll want to go back to OBS and up on the docs part. In the docs part, you'll see a PTZ controls. Click on that and it'll have that little PTZ control come up. When it does, just get it situated to where the PTZ controls is in that little section as you want it. All right, so it's the docs, PTZ controls, and then just get those situated. I had it too big in one side, and so when I moved it over, I kept having to fiddle with it, but it makes it easier to see whenever you have it in that section there. All right. I also made some notes for the person who's ever operating it, and so those notes are on there in order to give just an idea. Okay, look, what's going on? What does each controller do? What do I need to focus on? And so once you get those popped up on the screen, and just put one underneath the multi-view and then one to the side. That way, whoever's having it has their own little tutorial to kind of look through and see what's going on. Now, sometimes what ends up happening is as you're kind of messing around with things, you'll notice that it doesn't seem like the one that's for Waylon's doesn't seem like it's being controlled. The one that's for Bobby's doesn't seem like it's being controlled. And the reason why that is, you're going to have to click on the docs part. Once you click on the docs part over there, notice what the numbers are, because those numbers are the ones that you're going to want to get situated and all. And so, so it's usually not the center camera. It's usually camera 1 and camera 3. So it might be like 0.11 at the back end of it and 0.12. And so if you just go ahead and switch those numbers around, most likely you'll have everything situated to where it'll run correctly. So just make sure that there in this little section, check out the numbers, and then in the .11 and the .12, just change those out, apply it, and then that'll take care of that so that you'll be able to control the correct ones on the docs as well. Alright, so once you get your cameras all set up, if you go to the live producer, make sure that it's under West Sides, not personal, but make sure you're under West Side, and so you kind of go on the side. You should have already one set up. Alright, and go to set up that video. Make sure that everything's ready to go on Facebook. And so you can, once you get everything situated on Facebook, you can go back into OBS, and when you go back into OBS, you'll actually be able to make sure that you push the little start streaming, and it'll show on your Facebook Live to make sure that that's actually all situated on there. So I make sure that everything's kind of put together on Facebook Live, and then I just want to test that out and make sure it's going from one to the other. And so OBS is start streaming. You'll get it over there. All right. So this is just to test it out. All right. And so afterwards, you'll make sure that once you go live later on, all you have to do is push that button. Alright, so once you get all that situated, if you can take a moment to put the batteries in there and get them all kind of situated that way. When the worship team comes in, everything will be set and ready to go for those guys as you're going through it. And so there's one special mic that doesn't use a battery, but the rest of them you can get that situated. Alright, there are a number of other lights that you'll want to turn on. Get these guys situated in the windows. Once you put them on, stick it there in the middle pointing towards the interior. Get those cords, kind of wrap them up, and then one goes behind there, and then once you get to the other side, you'll notice you'll turn that one on. You get to the other side as well, and there'll be the one that's on the floor, and then there'll be another one that's by the piano that's behind the railing, and so that's where that cord will go. All right, and so just make sure that you put that cord there behind as well. Alright, so once you get all those lights situated, I usually go through and we'll grab some of the connect cards in order to make sure that all the pews have those. When you go through the pews, sometimes folks will allow their children to kind of mess some of those up, so I look through there to make sure every pew rack has at least 2 or 3 of those in there. Put those connect cards. I like to have them with the welcome scan me up front, and then just kind of walk through all those deals. Now, whoever's operating the OBS and the lights, don't forget that before service starts at 10:15 or so, you'll want to situate OBS in order to get all of that on there. All right, and so start your pre-service countdown. Make sure that you're streaming. Once you're streaming, check your Facebook live feed to make sure that that's on. And when you check that it's on, just make sure that on your phone you're able to access the just everything about that. All right, and so make sure that you're able to check that out. Make sure that you're actually able to get online and see the service once it's actually streaming, and then make sure after the service that you turn the Facebook live feed off. Really, a lot of times during the invitation time, if you could just go to the screen that is the goodbye screen, and that way whatever happens afterwards, you won't have to worry about that.